you for being here. And we're just about to go live onto Facebook in the community, and I'm really excited. We've got I'm going to say the name right this time because I had it wrong before. Ilona Selke is here with me.
Yes, you're awesome, Steve. Thank you.
We've got I'm going to say the name right.
Perfect.
And the good thing is when you hear that echo, you know there's a little bit of a delay when we're going out in the community, but everything's working perfectly, Ilona.
Okay. And are you going to be recording that echo? We'll just go for it.
No,
we'll just be live right here.
That echo, once we start recording the radio show, no, we do that. That echo would not go on the radio show. That goes on iHeartRadio, and we have a lot of people there, and cool. We have a lot of people on Facebook too, and hello to Facebook. And if you're here with us and you've got questions, and if you're here backstage as part of the rewind, and I see a few of our friends are with us, just type in the chat box, or if you'd like to come on live at the end for a Q&A, you just raise your hand and you can come join us. So thank you for being here. I'm going to open up the chat box and make sure that if you're back here with us, you can see. And just let us know where you're hanging out. And I did ask you, but it wasn't while we were live. Ilona, where are you hanging out with us today? I'm here in Redondo Beach, California.
Oh my God. I flew in from Bali. As you know, I have a retreat center there, vegetarian retreat center. Here, I'm in the Alps right now, having winter and Christmas, and I'm going to be visiting with friends and family and singing mantras for New Year's and, just being in the Alps, in the snow, and I'm just 6 weeks, and then I'll be back. It's the first time in 25 years I'll have winter, snow, and cold Christmas.
Well, I'll see the Alps when I watch my annual, Sound of Music tradition.
Yeah. I've had, my other books have been around dolphins. I used to and always have lived around dolphins and cetaceans since 1987. So here I am for the first time landlocked, but it's only for a few weeks, so.
Well, it's a good place to be. And I see Sherry's here from Needles, California. Hi, Sherry. And we've got some other friends on Facebook typing in. But we're going to get to this interview right now. We're going to dive in because we're going to find out about losing weight from the inside out. This is going to be a great interview. We're going to air it on Juice Guru Radio so we can get the word out to more people. But you, being part of our community, get backstage access. You get to ask questions. You can come on video if you're back here with us. And we'd love to see your face by the end. So we'll open for that. So let's get started. You all ready over there? And you've got everything you need, Ilona?
I'm set. Got water here, and I'm ready.
Well, this episode of Juice Guru Radio is brought to you by TriBest and the Juice Guru Rewind at juicegururewind.com. Hello and welcome. Welcome to another edition of Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve Prusak, and today we're so excited. We've got Ilona Selke. She's spent 1,000 hours with dolphins, speaks 4 languages, and has a new book that empowers anyone to transform their life and the world. We're going to get right into that interview right after this. So get a drink, get some juice, some water, sit back. We'll be back right after this with Ilona Selke. Hello and welcome back to Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve Prusak, and we've got Ilona Selke here. We're going to talk about her new book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, and a lot more. Let's welcome to the show right now, Ilona.
Hi there. How are you?
Hi, Ilona. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you. I love it. I love that you put the word out. I love that you put your dedicate your life towards making a difference and helping all of us be healthier, live better lives, and be contributing members to the universe.
Well, we have that in common, don't we?
Yes.
And what did that for you? I know it's it was an interesting path that brought you to this, and the culmination of this new book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening. What led to that? What were the moments that led up to that?
Well, I've been teaching the Living from Vision course since 1989 and had so much backlog of so many people creating miracles. And I remember, for example, and this fits in with your audience, one of my teachers in Germany, the course is out in Chinese, even in Czechoslovakian, German, English, French, Spanish. So it's covering the planet. And so I have a lot of backlog of experiences of people having successes, smaller, huge. And so I wrote some of these stories down, and also what people did to make those shifts in their lives. And one story I'll tell in a minute that pertains to how to gain health vibrancy and the physical good-looking body. But that led me to want to compile all those stories, because I remember when I was on the path, I read the book by Joseph Murphy called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, and just reading story after story after story of how your mind co-creates the reality with the universe. And even quantum physics is supporting us right now in understanding that this universe is different than what we thought it was. It's changing as we think. And if we can make use of that power, we can create better health for ourselves. So that's what prompted me to write the book.
And so much more, right? So you talk about health in all these other areas that we can just recreate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's basically, I have two major magical stories in there where you think like, whoa, are we living in a dream universe maybe? And so the more you work with your consciousness, the more you can part the waves of life. Different laws will apply, but let's just stay practical. I'll tell you the story of the woman who was teaching the women here in Cologne, Germany, how to lose weight. So normally, we have a plan, we know what to eat, we stick to an exercise regime or not, and that's usually the problem, right? So a lot of people have the idea of this is what I need to do to get to this figure or to this ideal weight or to this health condition. Well, she was teaching a class saying, forget all about the food, focus on how you want to feel when you're done, when you reach your goal, when you already are as slender as you want to be. And I mean, even when I tell you this, I just have immediately, I go into a form, shape, sensation in my subconscious mind. And really, most importantly, is to feel that end result in your internal mind-body system. And when you do, you reinform your genetic code. Get this. It's your genetic code influenced by what you imagine and feel. Now, sports people, I just taught a teacher training in Bali, and one of the participants to become a teacher is a high-performance sports person, and she uses the imagination to hit the ball right without practicing it physically. And she said, visualizing and feeling the end result in advance. And she had taken my course, Living from Vision, which was an online course first, and she'd used the techniques. She got such better results, and that's what they teach. Now, in health, Bruce Lipton wrote the book, the Genie in Your Genes, that was Dawson, but Bruce Lipton wrote Beliefs.
The Biology of Beliefs.
The Biology of Beliefs. Thank you. And it's in what we imagine that creates and activates the gene code within us. So, of course, what we eat, but also what we imagine, what we feel inside, what we tell ourselves determines the outcome. So this woman in Cologne, she just had the women choose 4 areas: exercise, image, feeling, how they wanted to look, different areas of which contributed to the overall image and feeling of health. And for 5 weeks, that's what they practiced. And they didn't change and didn't focus on their diet. They simply visualized it. And what they reported back to her was they started wanting to eat things that were good for them. They started wanting to exercise. They started suddenly dropping weight when they hadn't before. And she only targeted women who wanted to lose weight. I have other examples who did this. A woman who became a Living from Vision teacher in Australia in the late 90s. And when I saw her the first time around in my seminar, she was, I can't even show you how big. And then when I saw her at the airport meeting me, we looked the same. And I don't know, I'm slender type, almost 60, but and I've been a vegetarian since I was 19. So, but nevertheless, it's what you carry in your mind, the feeling, the end result that really, really, really matters. So the one point that I would add to all healthy choices is close your eyes and imagine having already arrived at the goal of your choice. And when you do that, you start activating the future and the present resonant field, and the tension between what is and what will be, that tension creates a new synergy. And your feeling body, and that's why feelings are so important. It's not just I'm thin, I'm thin, I'm thin. It's not just picturing it. It's feeling as if it already happened. And by shifting into a feeling state, you shift into a new parallel version of who you really are. And the universe, as we are starting to understand it, operates much like a holographic picture show. And your focus creates the pathways into the parallel dimension where the you that is healthy, the you that is slender already exists, and you vibrate that into your now state. That's the secret behind quantum consciousness. Now, you don't have to understand any of it to make it work for you. You just simply have to remember every morning, close your eyes, go into your healthy state. And that applies to people who have had disease problems. I've had people who were told they couldn't be in wheelchairs, couldn't be out of a wheelchair, walking, actually participating in a dolphin swim seminar years later with me. A woman who for 17 years had chronic problems in her digestion problems and couldn't have normal bowel movements. Another woman who in Bali, an old lady, I just told her to sit down and visualize having a healthy stomach. She'd shown me this really bad image of her stomach looking terrible with an endoscopy, and she did this for half a year. Every morning, just like I told her, because she was like, well, Ilona said so, she's somebody. So she did it and was, strong again, healthy. She hadn't been able to eat. So whatever spectrum people are at, if they use their mind to be in the future fulfilled and feel it, and that only takes minimally 5 to 15 minutes a day, you get results. You get to move into the picture of who you want to be, because you activate the feeling state and your gene code responds to that. And the whole entire universe starts conspiring together with you. That's in a nutshell.
When you first started doing this work in the late 80s, quantum physics didn't back up, but now the science is in. Like, they know that the brain patterns actually change and the universe actually changes. I mean, that's incredible. So to see that, right? Because at first it might have been intuitive for you back then, right?
Actually, I had studied a lot. I was fortunate to work with advanced scientists and people. For example, the Maryland experiment, which proved Einstein was wrong, that the universe is communicating faster than the speed of light, was done in Maryland and proven in 1982. So I had scientists and friends that I happened to be in the personal relationship with, not intimate, but in my field, teach me all that. And actually, we called ourselves quantum. We worked with the whole concept of quantum consciousness then, and people were like, "What is that?" So we were 30 years, ahead of the curve, but that's why we can now be on the radio and tell everybody and say, "Yeah, you heard it. It's on the front news now." Quantum physics is supporting, and some of the quantum research is supporting the idea that this universe is not what we were taught, and we're daily discovering that our thoughts co-create the reality. Our focus determines, among other things, the focus. So you can make use of that.
When it comes down to traditional goal setting and things like that, where are people going wrong? Because they're not really taking this into account too.
Right. Well, having a frame of reference and the belief that something works is the number one thing. And giving a framework where if you get educated on the backlog, and which I do in my book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, have an understanding and listening to enough stories where miracles happen, and then some description, having a belief that it can happen is the biggest thing. So in terms of goal setting, a lot of people have results, but they use a lot of power over. It's like, I need to. And when you start working from the inside out, you start listening to your heart and soul, and you align with a greater force, which is much easier than if you're the lone wolf or lone ranger trying to make things happen. You communicate. That's why I say the universe is listening in my book title, because if you have a communication between a higher force and yourself, It's much easier to open your belief, and the subconscious mind that we have is very powerful. So it's not just about the rational mind making choices. It's about reversing the effort and going into the fulfilled state first. And then the resonant pattern and the resonant behavior of the universe cooperates. That's why prayer works.
Right.
But in our modern day, people reading the Bible, it's like, really? That's like for people from 1,000 years ago. So we need to change our language, our understanding, and apply it to daily life, to where it's exciting enough to get back to the whole brain. See, our society has gone, in my opinion, very far off and is taking a real big leap in the left-hand direction. It's like the rational mind. And what we need to do is become holistic and go like, we need to be steering a holistic ship of consciousness, not just what thought dictates, but what our higher mind, our intuition, and our superconscious gives us. And that's what we teach, is connecting the superconscious. And that's where you can reach into shifting DNA patterns, into blueprints of your ancestors. You can do a lot of things. But for most people, they need tangible, small results. So if you want to focus on just getting the right health condition, just sit down every morning and feel what you would feel like if you already had that result. And I've been doing that for 30 years and guiding people into doing this. And I mean, literally jaw-dropping changes. And in the beginning, it doesn't really matter how big your goal is. If it's jaw-dropping, great. I have the course Living from Vision where it walks you through it. But even if you just remember this, take 15 minutes and do this first before you open any Facebook. Close your eyes and go into the resources of your consciousness and give yourself the gift of self-attention. And open up to say, okay, where do I really want to be? What is really important to me? And what would that feel like if I got to be there? Then the curtains will open and allow you to walk exactly on that road that you pre-envisioned, because you managed to have that experience in advance for a couple of minutes, even only 5. But the universe then knows what to resonate for you and brings and shifts the entire universe around.
So it could be that our thoughts are actually holding us back, because we can get caught in those old paradigms and those words that we heard, or our self-doubt or failure and all those words and things that we held on to. So is there a letting go and a reset, and how do we live into believing that this will work instead of moving the needle forward instead of the scratched record that as humans can just stay stuck sometimes.
Right. So there are 2 things that you're mentioning. One is, how do we get out of negative thoughts? For one, because I encounter them on a daily basis. It's like, oh no, I can't do this. Okay, what did I really want? Just stop. Remember these 3 words: stop, look, choose. So I'll tell it. Just stop. Go like, wait. This didn't sound right. This didn't go right. You just stay back and take a step out of the engagement that you're in right now and give yourself a breather. Because in that moment, you allow yourself to become that superconscious being. Even if you're not fully aware of what that might look or feel like, just stepping outside of that film that's running and allowing yourself to have perspective, something calms down. Then you take a look at what is going on, because it's always good to look at what is, even if it's ugly or bad, but you take a look at it and you're no longer in it. And that's the freedom of consciousness becoming awakened. Then you choose and you say, what I really want. Even in a relationship, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to say that. What I really want is, I want to feel love, gratitude. I want to be heard. I want to feel whatever it is. And if you do this, it's the same thing that I just described, what you can do every morning. But when you stop, look, choose, it takes that moment of self-awareness where you can then say what I really want, and you energize a positive internal state. Now, I have a more elaborate system that I've learned, and I wrote a children's book about it. It has techniques in it. It walks you through sourcing more deeply into the feeling of, let's say we had a trauma as a kid, and they said, you'll always be whatever, or you can't do this, or those hurt, those words, and they stay and loop themselves in our heads. And we oftentimes go, anything that reminds us of those words is like a trigger. And what do we do with those? And so that's again where you go, and it's best if you practice a technique. But nowadays I have those things on recordings. There are courses. I have the course where that's inside, embedded in there to learn. But just let me tell you, in general, you just take a moment to feel what is, even the negative part, and go, ouch, I feel this in my tummy, let's say. And you communicate with it. And you say, oh, I see. And you say, what do you really want to this ugly thing? And it'll tell you that it wants something very, very beautiful. Because embedded in life is the life force, and all you need to do is listen to it. So if you do, listen to the beauty, or listen to the hidden gem, the deeper will and wish inside of something very ugly, and it'll tell you what it is. And then quantum physics gives us the understanding that no two things can really be in one space at the same time. Even physically, we can't really do it, right? When you fuse the negative and the positive, a new synergy emerges. And in that synergy, your subconscious mind is able to release itself into its higher, greater wish. So, lengthier process. I describe it in my book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, because I've helped people from low self-esteem to being sick, to being afraid of getting into an elevator, with this type of approach to communicate with the negative, with that scratchy record thing that you just mentioned. And stop, look, choose is a simple version of that. If you can remember those words, stop, step out, go, oh, what am I feeling? Look at the situation, even in retrospect in the evening. What did I really want? And in that moment where you ask yourself what you really wanted, you allow the positive intention to reveal itself.
Yeah, that's the work. In those moments, to zoom out when you're going through life and whatever's being triggered is being triggered. That's the real work. But if you can get there,
that's when you make miracles happen.
So do I have it right when you say there could be people that are eating the healthiest diet, they're juicing, they're getting their green smoothies, and they're eating salads and all that, and they're moving their bodies and they're meditating, trying to do all these practices, but they might have a limiting belief as to what they can be, what their body can transform into, that's holding them back?
Yeah. And a lot of that is either family beliefs, even subconscious beliefs. Let's face it, for women to be gorgeous when they're married is almost a detriment, because, a gorgeous woman gets a lot of looks. And if you're gorgeous, despite the fact that you're married, how many women really want to deal with that? Or handle having kids, having profession, having this and that, and then eating on the run. It takes a lot to break out of expectations of your family and out of what other women are doing. So what you want to do, and what I did, is when I was in my 30s, I met women who were 55, who I thought looked 35, and I said, copy. That's why I'm telling people I'm 57 this year, and I'm going, I have men 38, 25 to 30 turning their heads. I mean, I'm just, it's not in what you, it's in what you allow yourself to be. So if you can copy this, I want to have that. That sounds exciting. That's okay. This person is a beautiful person. If you create that, I like that in another person, and then you can fashion yourself after it. Take time to become the gorgeous being that you are, the beauty from the inside out. And the feminine energy, the one that is loving and kind and beautiful in movements, nurture all the aspects. and work on those beliefs, not because you have to be gorgeous and have to be beautiful. It's more that you want your soul to express yourself here on this planet, just like God. I said God put these flowers on the planet to be beautiful, not to be like, hiding away or something like that. So allow beauty to become your expression in everything that you do. And then it will show itself in your body and everything, in your words, in your way you think about yourself and others.
But it's also redefining what it means to age, because that's another one of those things where at a young age we're taught, and we see it in our parents, we see it in our friends as we get older. Some of them are posting on Facebook that, I just turned this age and I feel every year of it, and they just expect it. Isn't that right, though?
Right. And I think, I started being a vegetarian since I was 19, and I would say, do it. Just do it. Just commit to a healthy lifestyle. Listen to your intuition, read books, draw the right things in it. I was very happy with understanding my blood type. That really helped me to find the kinds of foods that were good for me. But yeah, just put yourself and read books that are programming you in a positive direction. Surround yourself with people who do that themselves, and listen to people who help you do that, like your show. Amazing, good information that comes from that, and examples of people who do it and have done it,
Yeah, it's a matter of feeding your mind and your body. Like both are just as important. So, we're really excited. This is amazing, first of all. And the book, again, we're going to mention it's Dream Big, The Universe is Listening. We're going to have a link to it under the show notes at Juice Guru Radio. If you're here in the rewind, we'll have a link under the replay video so you can pick that up. But also, I see, Ilona, you've got this course, Living from Vision, and you're going to give a free demo, and I'll have a link to that too. Can you tell everyone what that's about? We'll have a link to that up at Juice Guru Radio under the show notes.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you so much, Steve. Yes, it's livingfromvision.com, and you can test drive under demo the course, and I let you explore, because what we do is we take people inward, and we do exercises. There's text, but there are internal exercises you do. We all have to harmonize with a teaching and a teacher and the voice. So that's where you can test drive it and see. And it starts out with letting you brainstorm what it is you really want. And then over 5 weeks, it takes you into all different levels of manifestation. One is learning how to create inner advisors. I remember that I had a salad leaf as my health advisor for healthy food. And in my, I'd go to a restaurant and I want to eat, this tastiest thing, whatever, the biggest pasta. And I say, salad leaf. And I had my own inner quiet conversation with my inner guide. And I said, what would you recommend? And it's like, my view went straight to something healthy that felt like the right thing to do. So my inner advisor is, and that's what we teach, is in the second week. And then we learn how to turn problems around, how to turn negative self-talk around, how to create a positive self-image, how to pre-experience success in advance, just like the sports people have done really successfully. And then we do something that a lot of goal-setting classes don't do. We tap into the purpose in life, and what for this time in your life, as we change, we grow older, we have different ideas, what is important. What is your purpose in life? Why and what do you want to create that is in harmony with that? So this course lets you test drive the first portion of the first week, but you get a feel for it, and that's free of charge. And of course, I'll also give you a link to get started with your morning meditations. Steve, I'll send you that link over. It's the Living from Vision Light app with a morning and evening guided meditation. It's 15 minutes long, and it starts your day on a positive note and ends the day on a positive note.
Awesome.
So we can do that. Yeah.
Thank you, Ilona. Yeah, we'll look for that. We'll put the links up under the show notes. And before we close out the radio section, because we will take some questions as part of being the rewind, we do give you that honor. You come on video with us or ask a question. But before we end the radio portion on iHeartRadio, Ilona, anything else we didn't touch on, or any final words of advice to help people get started with this? Anything, if someone's really motivated now, they're thinking, okay, now what? Like, do I wake up tomorrow? Am I going to start this visualization and my mind's going to run wild? How do I really get started? What would you say?
Well, really, okay. Most of the time we're motivated by something isn't working, right? So if you take 5 minutes in the morning and just sit down and close your eyes and go, thank you, universe, I'm here, I'm conscious, I'm awake, I can make something happen. What is it that I really want? And listen to your heart, and then let that be that. Maybe it's just have time to be in the sunshine, whatever, but start pre-creating your day from the inside out. And then you slowly but surely can include health ideas. One thing that I really want to emphasize, if you're shifting your diet right now and you're inspired, take your time, go slowly. It's an acronym that I learned from Francis from Assisi. It's from that dream. Make a big dream happen, but go slowly. And even if you shift 1 month, each month, a new item into your food supply and an old item out. I took half a year to become a vegetarian, and I don't know where you're at, but just be gentle on yourself. The most important part is to stick with it, to go along. Maybe it's your idea of helping the planet. Maybe you want to be healthier. Whatever it is, consider your blood type, maybe consider all these things that will be coming to you as information when you start working from the inside out, closing your eyes and living in your ideal version first of all, and giving the universe the blueprint of who you really are.
It's Ilona Selke. Her book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, available at bookstores worldwide and Amazon. You can pick that up, and we'll have a link under the show notes. Ilona, thank you so much for being here on the show with us and the work you're doing. So inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. You're really inspiring. Thank you for having me.
I'm Steve Prusek, and we'll see you next time. Unless you're here in the rewind and you've got any questions, go ahead and type them in the box. That was phenomenal. I love the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. I love that you're doing this. It's really so in tandem. The mind, the body, they have to go together.
And so many people leave that part out. They just expect, what is that? The mindfulness or the looking ahead or the manifestation? How does that even work?
It's amazing that you have the wisdom to ask that into your audience and not just make it all about just the food, but the mind, the food that we carry in how we feed our mind, how we feed our heart. Cool.
So awesome. we've got some friends here, and hi everyone.
Hi.
And if you do want to if you want to unmute your microphone, ask a question or raise your hand, that's fine. And we've got some members of the Juice Crew Rewind with us. Nice to see your faces there. And what a great opportunity here as the new year approaches, as you're going through the Rewind program, that, maybe there's some points in your mind that's just holding you back. And so Ilona can really help with that. So if there's anything we didn't touch or anything you want to talk to Ilona about, she's here with you, and we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and feel free to jump right in.
You still have to remember to unclick the microphone at the bottom left, right? I can hear you.
Okay, well, let me check.
You like listening? Andrea.
Well, it looks like we covered it all.
Yeah.
There's nothing left to say.
No. I see Andrea. Do you see me, Andrea? Hi. I know that one of the things that a lot of people are going through are the winter blues. We have darkness, sun is setting earlier, and it is really important to also include breath work and breathing light or breathing sunlight into our body and oxygenating and eating foods that help oxygenate. So I personally, I love broccoli. For me, health benefits come from broccoli, but I think all of us have some different foods that work well for us. So it's really important over time to discover what those triggers are and do more of them, especially as we're coming into the sweet season and there are so many cakes and relatives and eating turkeys or who knows what they're all eating, to also stay your course and say thank you. So I'm going to have Christmas dinner with my vegetarian family that became vegetarian when I became a vegetarian. I gave them, I don't know why, it just happened, but we all, when I was 19, my mother, my sister, her partner, my partner, all became vegetarian. And my sister married a husband and he is not, and she cooks for him the meat and eats her vegetarian food. So that's a challenge, But are there any questions you have for yourself that you'd like to know about food or anything, or stories of successes you can share?
I'm hoping the mics unmuting if anyone wanted to jump in. If not, we'll close out. We've got another event later today too.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think we covered it all then, Ilona. Thank you. That was phenomenal. And
thank you, Steve.
I'll let you know when we air on the radio.
Yes, perfect. And I'll be telling everybody to listen into Juice Guru and getting their life together with health and fitness, not only for the mind on my end, but also with the body. So to join over and learn from you.
Thank you, Ilona.
Yeah.
Have a great holiday. And to everyone else in here, we'll be back later this afternoon with Tammy Mastroberti. She's the editor of, I'm going blank on the name of her, Elevated Existence magazine. And she's going to show us how to create an amazing 2018 and make all our dreams come true. It's going to be phenomenal. And that's in a few hours. So I hope everyone's going to make their way back. It's your monthly masterclass. It won't be airing in the community. It's our chance to connect as a group. So hope to see you at 4:00 Pacific. You'll be getting an email reminder about 15 minutes before on the special link. It's a different link than you got in here now. So I'm hoping to see you all later. Thank you for joining this session, and I'll see you later in the afternoon. I hope so. Take care. It's going to be an amazing session. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.